Good morning and welcome back, Raider Nation. I'm Raider Dave. We're recapping the Bucs at Raiders. They get wrecked on Sunday. Defense gives up 45 points. So today's trash day, man. We're taking out the trash. We're going to recap this game. Defense is pure trash. This is one of the worst defenses we've probably ever seen. They might not be bottom in every category, but points, this defense is just getting shellacked with points. So, they did open up with a quick 3 and out. The Raider offense responded with a 6-play drive to get that huge pass to Nelson Agholor. Derek Carr was making crisp, clean throws. The offense looked well scripted. It almost looked like they were prepared to win this game. It almost looked, going into this game, it looked like they were prepared to win with everything, all the distractions they had all week. They looked prepared in that opening drive. It looked well scripted. They had control in the game at times, and they were able to bounce back in this game with 7 minutes left. And you already know, with Tom Brady in the middle of the field. I mean, you saw it early on. They were trying to open up the middle of the field. They missed that pass to Rob Gronkowski on that 3 and out that we had talked about. However, later on in the game, you got the check down on third and 13, a check down to Leonard Fournette, and you have him contained. The plays in front of you on defense. However, Leonard Fournette, he wanted it more than this Raider defense, and that's just the fact right there. He wanted it more than this Raider defense. Tom Brady wanted it more than this Raider defense, and that's why they put up 45 points and whooped our ass at home. And I'm going to leave it at that. And one more thing I'm going to touch on. This is it for Tom Brady. We don't get to play Tom Brady again unless we face him in a Super Bowl. This is it. That's it. That's all she wrote for us, man. We can go back on the tuck rule. We can bitch and complain about bad calls. We can bitch and complain about whatever the hell we want. But guess what? At the end of the day, Tom Brady owns our ass, and that's that. Unless we see him in a Super Bowl and get that revenge, other than that, this chapter's closed, man. So if you're new to the channel, the name of the podcast is GrimeCast Media. I'm Raider Dave. I'll be right back after this short intro. All right, so I'm just going to set this off with the offense, man. We saw some good things on offense from Derek Carr. We saw him use his legs, convert a key first down at one point. The one thing on offense they were lacking, though, that later on in the game, we saw Nelson Agholor. He committed his first drop of the season. He had a chance at a couple catchable balls as well. But once again, Derek Carr's putting that ball within their catch radius in position to catch the football. And, not saying the offense played perfect, but the offense played solid in this game. And, there were times that they looked really good, though they did not commit to the run. That's the things when you're playing a defense like that. You want to keep guys like, and I'm going to bring up basically the MVP of Tampa Bay's defense, and that is Devin White, man. He was all over the place, man. He was the difference maker on the defensive side of the football. I mean, that guy was just playing lights out, sideline to sideline. He'd come up and stop the run. He was dropping back in coverage. I believe he finished this game with 11 total tackles, 9 solo tackles, but he racked up 3 quarterback hits and got 3 quarterback sacks. So he was the difference maker on the defensive side of the football for Tampa Bay, and he got it going in the second half. It's like they came alive in the second half. They were getting shown up a little bit in the first half, but Devin White, man, they put the screws to this Raiders offense in the second half, and they were able just to slow down this Raider offense. And then Tom Brady did his thing late in the fourth quarter. Now, one thing when we're talking Tom Brady, we were talking about, hey, we're not getting another crack at him. One thing I want to say about Tom Brady is his arm looked strong as hell on Sunday. I mean, I know they got a souped-up all-Madden team. This team is a Super Bowl contender. They got coaching with Bruce Arians. They're stacked all the way with wide receivers. They have running backs. I mean, Leonard Fournette is a gem. He's a gem, man. That's a solid running back. I mean, that guy, and he looks like he's getting comfortable in this offense. So they're going to be a dangerous team. They're going to be a Super Bowl contender. But once again, back to Tom Brady's arm, man. I mean, he's making throws. I mean, he made a couple throws. I didn't think a 43-year-old, I thought he lost some arm strength. And I was even in the pregame like, hey, this is the opportunity to get after him. He doesn't have quite the Patrick Mahomes arm. Wow, was I wrong, man, because he did have a ball where he threw across his body. I mean, there was some darts that he threw out there. There was really no opportunities for our defense. Then again, our defense really didn't create any opportunities. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of what everybody's talking about. And just to close out one thing on the offense, we all know with Gabe Jackson, apparently now he's not facing a suspension after what was alleged on Sunday. Gabe Jackson, he's accused of stepping on Ndamukong Suh. Once again, it looked incidental. I'm going to use the word incidental. It looked unintentional. It looked like he did step on him. However, it didn't look intentional. So you see Ndamukong Suh, though, grab Gabe Jackson by the back of his shoulder pads and throw him to the ground, and his head does smack the turf. That's a pretty dangerous, violent move. However, the NFL did not acknowledge that, and we all know, we don't know why, but we all kind of know why. So, but most importantly, before we anticipate getting any calls going our way, and that was after a touchdown, too. So, we needed Gabe Jackson. They ejected him from this game. And what I mean, like, he's just not facing a suspension, like a 2-game suspension or anything, or a season suspension like we saw with Vontaze Burfict last year. So, but let me just get into this declining defense. I mean, it's a complete meltdown right now. These guys are giving up too many points. I mean, they're giving up 32.8 points per game, right? But at home, they're giving up 33 points a game, and they've only won that one game at home. I know they've had 3 home matchups that are tough matchups. You got to face Drew Brees. You got an up-and-coming Josh Allen who's just killing it in the NFL. And then you got to face the greatest quarterback of all time in Tom Brady. I hate having to say that, but that's the truth. He's the greatest quarterback of all time, and he whooped our ass at home in Las Vegas, and we didn't even show up. Like I said, we didn't look like we really wanted it on defense. I mean, you only get one quarterback hit on Tom Brady, and you just got to go out there with the want. You got to want to win. You got to want to stop Tom Brady. Like I said, that Leonard Fournette play just stands out to me. It stands out to a lot of Raider fans, a lot of people in the media. Everybody's talking about that play because it's a key play, because Leonard Fournette by himself wanted that more than the play call. Didn't even want it more than the Raiders. I mean, the play call was underneath a check down pass. Once something you're supposed to stop. We should not be getting killed on a check down. If you got the play in front of you, you got to run up and take the hit. Quit playing safe. It's almost like they're playing safe, like they're confident they're going to keep them a couple yards short. And in reality, the mentality needs to be, you need to run up and have that head-on collision. Go low. If he makes a move on you, so what? At least you had him 7 yards up. Go pursue the play. Don't worry about over pursuing. Sometimes I just think defenses overthink, NFL coaches overthink, and that's the result. And that's why you see plays like that. And then we thought the defense was bad last year. Remember, I pointed out, man, the defense actually won us a few games. I wasn't as hard on our defense as I am going to be this year. I mean, last year they were giving up 26.2 points per game. So, I mean, and we were talking about, hey, if the Raiders could score 26, 27 points game, they'll kind of be like how the Chiefs were in 2018. The defense gives up points, but the offense can, muster up enough points to get you a W. That's not the case now. This defense is progressively getting worse. They're getting worse as time goes on, man. We're getting less quarterback hits. We're not getting to the quarterback. That's what's happening this year. We thought we would get to the quarterback this year. And it is frustrating too when you see a guy like Devin White, man, who, some of us wanted Devin White. I would have been stoked. I've been saying it all along. I had Kenneth Murray on my mock draft last year. I still felt like the Raiders needed a true middle linebacker. You got to get that young stud in there, that young leader on your field. As good as Nick Kwiatkowski can play, as good as Corey Littleton has the potential to be, we're not seeing it yet. We're seeing average. All in all, with adding linebackers in free agency, adding more depth, I know we don't see Damon Arnett out there, but we have more depth on defense, younger players on defense. I know they were without the services of Jonathan Abram. You're getting good play from Trayvon Mullen. Trayvon Mullen is the only really bright spot on the defense, and I know I play favorites with Trayvon Mullen. I like what I see on the field with him, but all in all, you're seeing these additions, and yet the Raiders only have 7 sacks. They have 7 sacks throughout 6 games played, and they had 0 sacks in this game, and once again, 1 quarterback hit. That's it. And, when you get zero pressure, especially on a quarterback like Tom Brady, he's going to pick you apart. He completes 33 of 45 pass attempts. He drops back 45 times, gets 369 yards, 4 touchdowns. They even, from the 1.5-yard line on their first touchdown, they're so confident. He's so confident with his offensive line and everything, he does a quarterback sneak to get the touchdown. They're not even worried. And they got Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones back there. They got options. But once again, our defense is too predictable. Our defense, and you even saw before that play with Tom Brady. I know our defense was able to slow down Leonard Fournette because he nearly scored a touchdown on the previous play. But he almost moved our defense into the end zone. So I don't know, I'm ranting a little bit here. The turnover differential, this is a stat that I've been pointing out forever, man. That with just in general, the fact that our offense really can't commit turnovers because we're just always in the negative in the turnover differential. That's because of a bad defense. Yeah, we can blame defense, but we can also blame offense a little bit too. There's just got to be a mentality. Somebody needs to be a leader on this team and look at things like this. Like, hey, you're -5 in the turnover differential. You'll never win games. You're never going to win games if you're -5. And you only have 3 turnovers on defense. That's dead last in the NFL. You only have 3 turnovers on defense through 6 games. No fumbles caused, no fumble, there's been fumbles, but no fumble recoveries. These guys got 3 interceptions. That's it. That's all that's on our resume on defense so far this year. So a lot of mental mistakes on defense, basically a meltdown. They couldn't account for players like Scotty Miller, who pretty much led Tampa Bay in receiving yards. He got the big touchdown before the half. That was a momentum killer right there. But even the Raiders still rebound and get in this game. And then guys like Chris Godwin, they have a good team. Rob Gronkowski, him and Brady, they have a history. All those guys have good days. My personal opinion, though, I just think Leonard Fournette. I'll give you my 2 key players aside from Tom Brady because he has the 5 touchdowns and all that. But I just felt like Leonard Fournette was a huge role in getting this victory I feel like he set the tone for Tampa Bay on offense. He was the workhorse. He had 11 carries, 50 yards, 6 catches for 47 yards, and he had that key first down. And like I said, he had that key opening drive for Tom Brady and his touchdown. I just felt like that opened up the game. And then, have guys like Devin White, man, that just took over on defense. And that's what we need on the Raider defense, man. And that's where Cleve Farrell's going to get called out because he's the number 4 overall pick, and you want him to have those types of games. You want somebody to step up on defense and be that guy. We saw a good game from Trayvon Mullen. He had his hands full. He had a couple pass breakups, 9 solo tackles, but that's too much for your corner. You don't want your corner coming up and having to make those tackles. But if you really watch Trayvon Mullen, man, he is something special, man. That's the player I key on when I'm watching defense. Keeps me sane. I like his style. And once again, I'm looking what's the way up for this defense? And that's going to be my question of the day. What is the way up for this defense? Is it time to fire Paul Guenther? I believe so. I don't think we haven't seen Paul Guenther really get a grip on this defense. Seems like Gruden is kind of defending him at the moment, but it doesn't look like they're anticipating any kind of coaching changes. But I think it's time to put Paul Guenther at least on the hot seat and see if it's time for Rod Marinelli to step in as a head man on the defensive side of the football. So I'm going to wrap it up with that. I know I probably didn't cover everything, but it's going to be a busy day ahead. I'll be catching you guys later on this week, man. We got a big game against the Cleveland Browns. Don't count them out. Do not count the Browns out. We'll go over some statistics with them. They got some firepower. I know they lost Odell Beckham, but they lost him for the season with a torn ACL. But we'll get into all that stuff later on in the week. Have a great week, Raider Nation. It's time to rebound, man. Get win number 4. We wanted to get that at home. And once again, we're going for win number 4 in week 8. I'll catch you guys later on this week. I'm Raider Dave. I'm out. Peace.